Hello everyone, I'm Jerry, founder of Flexiana, and today I will be speaking about AI and machine learning tools for marketing managers and for marketers. During this talk, you can use chat if you will have any questions, and by the end of this presentation, I will I will answer all of those questions. At the same time, this is being recorded. We will put the recording on our YouTube channel all together with the link to this presentation. It includes a couple of links to existing projects, existing tools, interesting articles and studies. So it might be worth checking it. So please, by the end of this video, I will add a link to our YouTube channel. So please add. So what are we going to speak about during today? First, I will provide a quick overview of what are we going to speak about. It's not going to be generative AI to create marketing assets. Everybody is doing this. I think you can find plenty and plenty of materials about these topics. So we will be focused more on marketing research, how to find customers, how to find what customers are speaking about, how to set correct prices, and so on. All of those things are better when you use machine learning with them. These uses of machine learning might be large language models like ChatGPT, but we might be speaking about other things, common machine learning, let's say. Still, I will do the whole presentation without you needing to know any mathematics, without you needing to know any programming whatsoever. So from all the webinars we have done, this is going to be the least technical one so far. Then I will speak quickly about me, and then we will speak about three categories of tools. Something you can use today, you just sign up and the tool is available. Then tools that need a little bit of integration to your ecosystem in company where you work. And then tools that do not exist, are not like generally provided for companies or individuals. However, there are some underlying libraries. And if you, for example, have some developers in your company, these people might help you to implement those things. And I will provide plenty of existing case studies from companies like Uber, Booking, Airbnb, Google, Microsoft, who are using those tools either to help themselves or to help their customers. All right. So, as I said, the focus of this presentation is not that much generative AI generating articles, videos, photos, and so on. There is plenty and plenty of existing videos on YouTube, articles everywhere on internet. What people don't speak about that much is using AI to make sense of the world, to understand what's happening in the real time, how customers behave, how customers decide, why do they decide the way they decide. And this is the main goal of this presentation, is to tell you more about all that. Now, quickly about me. I'm Jerry. I'm in software development all my life. Since childhood, I wrote first line of code when I was 7 years old. But actually, I studied economics and I have a master degree in economics. And one of my main focuses was operations research, which is related to machine learning. It's a form of applied mathematics, often tied to things like optimization of manufacturing, optimization of logistics, warehousing, deliveries, etc. I was involved in my first machine learning project 15 years ago. It was personalization for e-commerce company. And over years, I have trained many neural networks and created many other machine learning models. One of my main specialties in machine learning are so-called Bayesian models and Bayesian optimization, which are great in certain scenarios. I was speaking about Bayesian models already. We have we have a YouTube channel. I will provide the link to the YouTube channel, and there is a presentation that's speaking exactly about my, let's say, main focus. Um, so let's start with the tools you can use today. I will be giving you an overview of plenty of tools. I use some of them. I don't use all of them. And the main point is actually not all machine learning is large language models. So you might be already using machine learning. Maybe you don't know it. So first is understanding what's happening in the market and understanding the trends. So there is a bunch of tools like Sparkler or Glimpse and so on, and these tools help you to understand, let's say, in the real time what is happening. Let me give you an example because I am using Vario and I'm using Brand 24. So let me just change the sharing. So share this one. Uh, can you see it? Can you see my screen? And Brand 24?
Yes, we can.
Great. So there are two tools I'm using. One is called Brand 24, and the second is called Avario. Avario is super simple tool. Basically, what is it doing is that it takes it's looking for mentions on your it looks for mentions for things that are interesting for you. Let me just move it here. So here I'm, for example, I picked a couple of topics: machine learning, pricing. These topics are interesting for me. So this is scanning the whole internet for mentions. Of course, the tool should not be used with such generic mentions. You should be significantly more, let's say, focused and created much longer, let's say, sentences to monitor. Otherwise, you will be flooded with thousands and thousands of new mentions. This could be used, for example, to spot new business opportunities, to spot what other people are speaking about, spot if people speak about your brand or your competitors positively or negatively, etc. If we speak about brands, I think there is another tool, which is Brand 24, which I think is even better than Avario. And this tool also can, so here, one of the topics I'm interested in is machine learning. So also it is scanning all the mentions. It's not finding that many mentions. You have to connect some of your social networks, and it's more focused on mentions on social networks, not the general web everywhere, even when they say they have it, but they are not finding that many links. However, what they have is they have significantly more analytics tools. So yeah, summaries, AI insights. Um, so it gives you even a summary or an insight what's happening. Sometimes I find that the data it finds are not like 100% accurate, and a thing you can believe in completely. For example, today I was checking, and this user on Twitter, 3.2 million views reach, is a person who does not have such a big reach. Or I was looking at sources. It's sources here. So surprisingly, I didn't expect that. So for example, on machine learning, on what sources people speak about machine learning the most? Visits. So here you can see 29 billions of views. Here we are looking at 6.3 billion views, and it's just one Google Doc. So I have spent some time looking for what the document even is, and I found it, and it's Vancouver Pony Expo vendor application form. So I don't think it works like 100% accurate. However, it's very interesting to, and you find insights, you find people speaking about brands you care about. Um, so this is one of the good uses um, for scanning of markets and trends. Let me go back to my presentation. All right. So another are tools for pricing. So the most common use for machine learning is to set up prices in, let's say, any business where you have plenty of opportunities to change your price on ongoing basis, which might be e-commerce, it might be retail, for example. And in those fields, what you really need is to know what are the prices of your competitors. So there are many existing tools. These are some of the examples of tools that can scan websites of your competitors, find what prices they have, and use this to set your own prices. Actually, I am interested in this field because it is extremely impactful on every company that have power over their prices. Let's go to speak about product analytics. So many of you will probably already know Mixpanel, Hotjar. These are, like, I would say, core analytics for any SaaS product where you can have analytics, and of course machine learning in this field is often creating various summaries and analysis of the data, creating highlights when something is off. So in Hotjar, Mixpanel, in SaaS products, for example, we are speaking about analytics for all stages of your funnel. So all the way from acquisition of new people, their activation, making them to really use your product, to recommend it, not to churn, etc. One product that stands out in this ecosystem is PostHoc. It's not one tool, it's actually many tools at the same time. PostHoc has a beautiful website, by the way, one of the most beautiful websites I have ever seen, and it looks like operating system. And they are listing plenty of applications. At this moment, I think they have like 34 different applications. So funnel insights, they have BI intelligence, and so on. So these tools are definitely interesting. Um, from what I know, PostDoc sometimes is not the cheapest, so it's good to keep this in mind. Then surveys. So surveys, again, there are plenty of tools for surveys. I am on May's newsletter for a while. I haven't tried it yet, but I definitely want to try it because they have created a new feature that seems to me to be very interesting, and it is that you can ask AI to have voice interviews with people who are willing to speak about your products, about your website, or whatever, anything you are testing. So you create a scenario and Maze sources candidates, or you source your candidates who will be speaking with AI, and AI is leading the interview, might ask additional questions, and so on. So this is something that looks exciting for me. To be honest, I think this is one of the things we will try very soon in Flexiana. Then there are, of course, tools for content optimization. Now both Surface SEO and ClearScope speak about not only search engine optimization on Google, but also how to be found on ChatGPT, Claude, or any other AI. ClearScope, if I'm not mistaken, has even a monitoring tool. One of those, I think it's ClearScope, has a tool where you enter what brands are interesting for you, and it is constantly checking how are different AIs speaking about your brand or those brands you monitor. So you can see if the sentiment is changing or if the brand, how you are trying to convey it to your customers, is is being, let's say, pushed by AI in the way you want it. And of course, it's if not, you have to add more contents to your website to change this. I think this is interesting development in SEO because back in the day, most of the time when you heard about new brand, it was either through branding campaign or word of mouth. Now we could see a new third significant source of branding might be that people learn about new brands through AI. So it is definitely worth somehow monitoring how different AIs are speaking about your brand. Of course, majority of the people nowadays are using ChatGPT from OpenAI, but Anthropic Cloud is growing, insanely growing. They are more and more used in corporate sector. Another thing is that, for example, China is pushing their own AI. The most famous is DeepSeek. Interesting AI is also Manus. We use it a lot in the company. It's like a worker. It has its own computer. It can do tasks for you. If you are happy with using AI that's hosted somewhere in China, I found that it can do things that OpenAI and Claude cannot do, especially if it's worked with multiple files. So so it's great, for example, for marketing research, or we use it to look for public tenders in Flexiana. So um, I digress, but I think it's worth pushing or let's say checking what how AIs are speaking about your brand because this in the future will be a significant source of new traffic, significant source of new customers, and their expectations about your company should be realistic and should be what you want it to be, right? Now let's speak for a second about a couple of tools that need a little bit of integration. That means you can't just like sign up, maybe add some piece of code to your website and it's working. So the tool I would like to speak about quite a lot is called Crew AI. It's a framework to build artificial employees in a way. I made a presentation a couple of months ago on how to make artificial employees. And one of the frameworks I was speaking about is Crew AI. So it's a completely free framework. You can download it. You can run it on your computer or your server, or they are hosting it. So you can ask them to host it for you if you pay for that. And how it works is that you create those virtual agents and all of those agents get identity, they get a purpose, and they get tools. And then you create a network in which you say, how are different agents communicating? Which agent is doing his work first, and which agent second, and so on. And they have already a couple of prepared flows. Some of them are interesting in marketing or sales or lead generation. It might be marketing research. It might be augmentation of data for your CRM system, for example. So this is a system that's definitely worth looking into. I am posting here the link to the presentation I did in the past. I'm speaking about Crew AI about 48 minutes and a half in. It's quite simple. You would need a developer to use Crew AI, but it's quite simple to learn. It's well tested, and it has access to many tools. It can access uh, Google Apps, sorry, Google Apps, your databases, Google Analytics. It can read files, write files, send emails. Um, there's plenty it can do. So you teach the agent what you want it to do. You give it tools, and the agent is working more or less automatically to fulfill the goal it has been given, and it works very well. Another tool I would like to speak about is more of an example of what we are building. I don't want to turn this into a presentation where it's selling you anything. It's more like what we work on. So this is also, I was speaking about Bayesian pricing a couple of months ago. There is a link to another presentation we did. So Bayesian optimization is um, it sounds terrible, it sounds like mathematics, but basically it can be all hidden in a library. And what is it doing is that you have an algorithm and you feed it with data, and it gives you either what is the optimal something, for example, price or discount for a customer, or what's the optimal size of a button of the website. But also it knows how certain it is, and it is on certain rate. Let's say you ask it one in 10 cases, do not give me optimal version, give me experiment. And the experiment should be used the way to uh, reduce uncertainty as much as possible. And Bayesian optimization is much cleverer than many other algorithms in this reduction of uncertainty. And I'm speaking more about this in that presentation I link here. But what if you want, for example, to optimize pricing on mid-size e-shop, you might need weeks to do machine learning on all of your products. While with Bayesian optimization, you can optimize prices of all of your products in a day, maybe even less than in one day. So it needs significantly less data because it's very clever in finding which experiments to do to reduce the uncertainty the most. In Flexiana, we are building a dynamic pricing software for e-shops. We are, I would say, different in one thing, and it is that it's not subscription. It's not SaaS. We just integrate it for customers, and they pay only for the integration, and there is no ongoing payment. In this moment, we are looking for early adopters who would like to speak with us, who would like to give us a chance to learn about your business and your needs in pricing. So if you have time to speak with us, it would be great. Another example I wanted to show is called Kaleidos. So this is also built based on something we are building. So we have a customer. It's a company that is building and making cereals, either big batches or also small batches, even individual pieces. They have a robot that can create one piece. So you, for example, say, I want Belgian chocolate, I want dried strawberries and almonds, for example, and they will make it for you. And of course, this is significantly more expensive than those mass-produced cereal mixes, but it's yours. So we had an idea, or I came with an idea. Okay, let's do this. Let's segment all the customers, and segmentation of customers also a form of machine learning. Let's segment all customers into super small subsegments, which might be tied to various things. We know this person is buying something just before Valentine's Day and it contains chocolate. Okay, we can tag this person is shopping for Valentine's Day. This person is always filtering out peanuts on the website. Okay, this person is probably either allergic to peanuts or is buying for somebody who is allergic to peanuts. We find somebody who is filtering that he or she wants only vegan chocolate. Okay, this person is probably vegan. So, and people can be in multiple segments. So This is one part. It's one use of the machine learning. And then in the second part, so this is the segmentation. So we create plenty of those segments, and then we create matching between products, or sorry, ingredients and segments, and understand how different people react to different of those segments. What is the margin? And we create a scenario where we can recommend mixes for certain segments that can be made in, let's say, mid-sized batches, which allows the company to do it more efficiently so they can lower the price and people get a mix that's cheaper than custom made, but it is more or less custom made just for them and their preferences. So again, we are looking for early adopters. This tool is not just for cereals. It can be used in any white label, often in cosmetics, fashion, jewelry, and other fields. So if you want to speak, it would be great. Now, let me speak about what do companies really use. Some of the companies that have internal team helping them to apply machine learning. So one of the things. Sorry, I jumped all the up to the end. Okay, so Uber. Uber is extremely heavy in machine learning, in optimization of prices, because of course you need to optimize the price so that there is either not too many free drivers or not enough. They have even released their own platform called Michelangelo, and they are using this platform for their own machine learning. All of those platforms like Uber, Lyft are using something called queue theory. It's pretty interesting, and actually, when I was studying, we were learning it. It's useful in many different places. For example, when should you open another till in the supermarket? So um, one of the things in queuing theory is the more people you have, the time is not becoming linearly longer, but it might become exponentially longer, for reasons like when the cashier has to do other things like answer questions. Okay, why is it moving so slow, and so on. So there are situations where you can exactly say, okay, when there is 6 customers, we need to open another till to keep the time of waiting under a certain limit. And actually, these theories are used in planning in services like Uber. There are existing open source libraries, um, for example, that Orbit or EconML. I will be speaking about this in the future. So EconML is a model from Microsoft. This is called double machine learning. I will speak about this a bit later. So you can use it. You can download it. It's free. You just need a developer, but you don't have to pay Microsoft $1 or a euro to use these models in your company. Lyft is using more or less the same thing. Also, they are building on queue theory. So basically, they have a weblog and they describe exactly what they are doing, and it's more or less the same thing as Uber. It's queue theory. Um, Now, if we speak about DoorDash, Deliveroo, so what they need to do is also they need to set prices for deliveries. They want to maximize margins, maximize money the couriers earn for deliveries, but at the same time, they want people to keep buying. So they need to model impact of price on different things, and they create a model. And in this model, so in machine learning, the output of machine learning very often is a model, and a model is a function that, let's say, gets some data. Like for example, how far is the customer? How big is the order? um, how big is the demand? How many people are buying right now, for example, and if the order is, let's say, too small, and then you give weight to all of that. And given this, let's say, weight, you can provide optimal price. And as you are training on more and more customers who either purchase or they abandon their cart, on every single case, you can update the weights in the model. So in this example, DoorDash delivery, they don't tell what are the weights of the model. And even if they did, it's changing. As people are buying or not buying, it evolves. Every day, the weights will be a little bit different. And even in every city. So you might live in a huge city with a good, let's say, highways, and the weight of distance might be lower because everybody is delivering to the much larger distance. But at the same time, as there are no traffic queues, it might be okay actually, and drivers might be able to deliver a lot of things. So in that city, let's say in LA, most likely distance will matter less than in Houston. I might be mistaken. It also depends on time, which is connected to demand factors, right? Around 9 a.m., everything will be completely different and more expensive than 5 a.m., let's say. So this is how the model might look like. They might multiply a couple of things and sum them, and you will get the price. So again, there are existing tools that calculate the optimal price. You just need to integrate them. Airbnb is using a similar thing, and they are trying to constantly run experiments. For them, what is experimental is in which order they should show you the houses or apartments where you might stay. So one of the things they do quite a lot is that instead of doing A/B testing, where, for example, for one day or for many cases, you run experiment, let's say A, and then for many cases B, they are interleaving. And when they see, with interleaving means algorithm A, algorithm B, algorithm A, algorithm B. And when they see that one of those algorithms is developing really badly, they can stop it much faster. So experiments are not so risky for them compared to normal A/B testing, where you might try something really terrible, which might detract plenty of customers. Um, Booking is doing similar thing. They are constantly trying to experiment how to bring more customers, how to order hotels for you. So you will pick the first one that they provide for you, and so on. Um, but another thing that is interesting, and also I will provide the presentation with this video. They have uh, democratized framework for machine learning within the company, which means that plenty of people in the company can run their own experiments. And they are not gatekeeping this only to a small team of data scientists. And not everybody has to go, like marketers, managers, and so on. They don't have to go to their data scientists. They can run experiments themselves. And they do it on scale, basically on a global scale, which is extremely interesting. Now Amazon. So I will spend speaking about Amazon a little bit longer because Amazon is massively invested in machine learning, and especially in pricing. And now when I say that pricing is important, so what is publicly known about Amazon is even years ago, Amazon's profits were hire more than $1 billion per year just because they use machine learning to constantly update their prices. I'm speaking about that a lot in my one of those presentations I have shown already. So Amazon is earning over $1 billion just by doing machine learning in their pricing, and their current PE ratio, profit price to earning ratio, which means how many multiplies of their profits is the value of the stock, is 223 last time I checked, which means that using machine learning is for pricing is adding at least 223 billions of dollars to the value of Amazon, which is between 9 to 10% of the value of the whole company. Imagine, so Amazon might have tens of thousands of employees, and then there is most likely a team of maybe 10 scientists, and those 10 people create 10% of the value of the whole Amazon. So, but they are insanely good. They are updating prices of millions of products all the time. And it's not just copying competitors. Actually, Amazon went much further because they know that it's not only the price of the competitors, but it's also the service, how long you will wait. If they can, for example, upsell something, convince you for a monthly subscription of something, etc. Um, and Amazon should be one of the core motivations why everybody should try to use machine learning in their pricing. It can have a massive, massive effect on the profitability of the whole company. Um, Walmart is also using machine learning on a massive scale. They use the same tools as many other. They use it for forecasting demands because they have physical stores, right? So they need to know how many produce must be in the store. So they reduce waste and spoilage, etc. Um, Another interesting use is at Facebook, at Meta. So when you advertise on Facebook, you want to spend money efficiently, and you might want to split your budget into different groups, different channels, different ways how to advertise. And Meta developed a framework. It's open source and it's free. So they have implemented a framework to do marketing mix modeling. That means that you put in the performance of your campaigns and it gives you the optimal split. And nowadays in machine learning, like when you do machine learning and you improve your behavior, it works for some time, but you have to do it not constantly, but you have to do it often. So you optimize your campaigns, you get better, you observe for a while, and then you feed it back to the model and you get even better weights. So these tools are, again, something, it's a way how to constantly optimize your spending. This is more focused on performance marketing, but it's super interesting way how marketers can use machine learning to save money, bring more visitors, bring more customers, build stronger brands with a tool that's free and available absolutely for everybody. Um, Google is using plenty and plenty of things. Google, if we speak about it, is basically a company that lives by doing machine learning. Google search is first super massive whole world use case of machine learning in the world, I would say. And they employ thousands of PhDs and constantly improve. Um, so what they are doing, uh, you can't even say all the things they are doing, but they mine data from everything, from Android phones, from behavior in Chrome, how people from emails we are getting. Now, when I open Gmail, it often understands, okay, this is an airline ticket, and it automatically scans, okay, the departure is this day and this time. All this is machine learning. Google is doing a lot of things, and of course, it's all inspiration for companies and their products. Then there is Microsoft. So Microsoft has their own research lab, and there is one library I would like you to know about. And this library is called EconML, and it's a library for so-called causal machine learning. It has multiple algorithms. The most important one is called double machine learning. What is it doing, or what is the advantage? So usually when you are running A/B tests, you get version 1 and you compare with version 2, which might be okay. So if I show this another ad, or if I show another version of this page, people buy 5% more, for example, and that's it. But you don't know the reason, you don't know the cause, or you don't know, let's say, subsegments within this. In EconoML, this framework can basically, it has a step in the middle. It's doing two machine learnings and it's creating those segments. So it says, yes, when you run this A/B test, um, people who are younger than 30 are buying actually 20% more, and people who are over 50 are not buying more at all. So it gives you additional information over A/B tests. And EconML can build something that's called causal trees. And those causal trees is basically a way how you will find what these characteristics are. Like in A/B tests, you can construct experiment where you will be showing data only to people who are, for example, under 30. But you have to think of it. You have to have the idea to test it. EconML can actually find those things, find those cutoffs for you. It is a form of decision-making tree. Decision-making trees are, by the way, extremely important field in machine learning. It's used everywhere. And again, there are plenty of algorithms, frameworks, and libraries that are completely free, open source. Anybody can use them. The most famous is C5, which is you feed it with plenty of data and it gives you a decision-making tree. So for example, you have a behavior of people on your website or yeah, anything, any data. And it gives you, it automatically finds what are the spots when people decide this way or that way. So you have 5 attributes and it will create a tree. If somebody spends on the website longer than 5 minutes and is a returning customer, and I don't know, is using desktop, then this person will buy. This is an example, but if this person is on this website, previous customer, but is on a phone, he or she will not buy. So this is an example of decision-making trees. Uh, Something like algorithm C5 or C4.5 can create those decision-making trees for you. Its use is possible everywhere. You can use it in diagnosis, in medicine, in many different places. EconML is doing exactly this. It will tell you what are those like criteria and what is the result of those, let's say, A/B tests or experiments. So it's definitely something to look into. It can be used in many different places in companies. Um, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, and so on, they are using quite a lot, something that sounds terrible, but it has nothing in common with HIV. It's called AIDS or QI AIDS. AIDS is almost ideal demand system, and it is if you have a budget, it will tell you how, for example, a family will spend the money of the family for food and cosmetics and whatever, but it is using cross product price elasticity. So normal price elasticity is if you have studied economics, this was like year one thing. So basically, if you increase the price by 1%, what will be the impact on demand? So let's say minus 1% in demand. So um, then you are learning how to maximize profits by building marginal curves. But this is actually doing cross product price elasticity. So for example, you might model if price of apples will increase by 1%, how it will impact in the whole market the price of bananas, for instance. And for the companies that work across the whole markets and that have a huge variety of different products, these models are extremely important. For these things, again, there are existing libraries, stats model, for example, and these can exactly tell you those things. Change of the price in A, what is the impact on B? Uh, Let me show you something. I will share. Okay, share. Okay, so here I have an example. I created an example. You don't need to read the code, but let me run the experiment. So I have run an experiment. It was doing some machine learning. It's based on realistic data. And here we have got an example. So um, we've got some data, how much some family spends on Coke, chocolate, chips, and water. And what happens if you change the price? So for example, if you change the price of chips by 1%, the demand will be lower by 0.85, but it will grow demand for chocolate, lower the demand for cola, and so on. So this is exactly the type of the things companies that have thousands and thousands of products and are over the whole market, like Tesco, Carrefour, Unilever. This is the type of modeling that's interesting for them, and it might help them to understand what changes in prices in their products, how it will impact other products in their portfolio, and how it will impact their competitors. Because they might potentially say, okay, we will increase prices, it will help us, but they can also model if they will not help their own competitors even more. So, so it's another use of machine learning. If you have the data, and this needs quite a lot of data, building such a model is not so difficult. Let's say here we are looking at around 1,000 lines of code to do this study. So it's something that can be done in a few days if you have a developer who is capable of that. Okay, let me go back to my presentation. All right. So, so what can you do? First option is to look into tools that already exist and use machine learning, like those tools to scan mentions of brands, or use Maze, for example, to have AI to speak with hundreds of potential customers or of people at the same time. So you don't have to do hundreds of interviews yourself. It will help you. It's great. It's quite cheap. When I say quite cheap, these tools can easily go to hundreds of dollars per month, even for just one user, but still compared to other things, it is the cheapest way how to get value from this. The second option is to hire in-house data scientist and a developer who is focusing on this. It makes sense definitely for companies with profits over $5 million. I think many companies nowadays that already have business intelligence team, they probably have somebody who can deploy some of those models in the company. And it is possible that some of those things are already being used in your company. If you are not there yet, or if the use case is a little bit special, it might be worth pooling those expenses between multiple companies. Again, I don't want to turn this into a sales pitch, but this is what we do from time to time. We come up with an idea. Uh, Multiple companies can spread the expenses. All companies get full source code, full license, and everything, and all companies can use benefits of that library or model. Okay, so we have go to the last slide. This video will be on YouTube. It will include the link to this presentation with all the articles. For example, all those things here are very interesting articles. They might be, or this one and this one and this one, they might be a little bit technical, but are interesting and worth reading if you are interested in machine learning or AI in companies. So please add us on YouTube. Also, as I said, we are constantly looking for people to speak with us about uh, their needs or about what we are building and give us feedback. So I would be super grateful if you can send me an email and we could speak. Uh, you don't have to buy anything from us, but we would love to learn. Okay, so now it's a good time for questions. So are there any questions?
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Mary.
Thanks for this free course. I just wanted to ask out of curiosity, are there courses like this where one could get certifications like you like offer?
Yeah, for the certification, it depends what you want to achieve, because um, you want to be a user of this, or you want to be developer of this, because in order to develop those things, there is quite a lot of mathematics. Uh, so actually, the best certificate you might have is to study economics with focus on mathematics, econometrics, oh yeah, but economics or machine learning itself. But machine learning itself might be a bit too unrelated to business needs. To be a user, there might be some Coursera, Skillshare courses, and so on, I guess.
I am actually a digital marketer, but I just would like to have like more in-depth knowledge or some knowledge on marketing, AI. Basically, I don't know. That's why I was asking. I'd actually like to be a user, implement it in my role
Yeah.
yeah, so that I have like those skills. I'm just trying to acquire those skills. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
Yes, so to learn those tools, you don't even need a certification. Most of the time, these tools have a free trial. If we speak about those first tools I was covering in the beginning of my presentation. So these tools have very often free trial, multiple videos on YouTube, and people speak about those tools, how to use them on YouTube. I would try Skillshare as well. And it's definitely
Sorry, did you say Skillshare? Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Skillshare, okay. Thank
Skillshare.
you.
Yeah. Udemy, Coursera, edX.
If it's you don't know
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah. I guess there will be plenty of courses on
Okay, that should be on Coursera. Thank you.
Coursera, Udemy, edX. On these servers, I guess it might be possible. If you wanted to dig deeper into it, the best way is to use it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much.
All right.
Hi, Churi. Thanks so much for that presentation. That was brilliant. It was really, really interesting. I also have a digital marketing background and have begun to transition into more data analyst and more business intelligence, working with marketing agencies. I wanted to ask, would you be able to give maybe a brief or short overview of what you would suggest in terms of a focus?
Yes.
And maybe a practical, maybe case study or example for maybe machine learning in with respect to a marketing agency.
Yeah. Yeah. So, if I understand it correctly, you want to transition away from being a digital marketer more to being a data scientist that is using data to help, let's say, other companies, or what is?
So I guess just to give some context, I work with an agency at the moment, and fairly standard setup where they have a lot of client data, and we have an ETL process, so unifying the data, clean the data in funnel, pushing it to BigQuery, and then loading it within Looker. So I consider that to be kind of like a maybe foundation, maybe a starting point. But I can see how machine learning could sort of help them with either insights or with optimizing spend or optimizing sort of their activity.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned Robin. I was previously at a different marketing agency, and we were exploring this with regards to creative testing or scaling creative testing. And so, yeah, I'm seeing where maybe there is um, where there is that overlap and where this can sort of be laid on top of that.
Yes. So, there is, like, the field is big, but it's doable. It's doable, especially if you are a fast learner. I would say that first thing you need to learn is how to get data somewhere. Most of data scientists are using something called Jupyter. I don't know if you have seen it. It's like a scientific notebook where you can combine data, create charts, but also you can add code, most often in Python. Um, so you need to learn how to get data, and you need to learn how to visualize data. And then you need to learn some statistics. It does not have to be like PhD level statistics, but you need to be able to extract attributes from the data, find seasonality. It's super common that data have, like, customers are buying something more just before Christmas, just before Valentine's Day, just in summer. So understand seasonality. Then super interesting and important thing is something called sensitivity study. It's also part of statistics. And it exactly tells you, if I change A, how will it impact B? So something that, for example, Econ ML from Microsoft is doing for you is exactly extracting this, but it can also find those attributes for you. Like if you have just a lot of data and you don't know what matters, if it's age, spend, browser, previous behavior, if the person is signed up on the newsletter, it can find it for you. But you should know how to isolate those things in the data and visualize it, or find some correlations and impacts. So um, it sounds like a lot. It is in a way a lot because you are like changing a career and it's a change towards something that sometimes people study in universities, but it's very fit. It's a fulfilling career, and you can always get better. So I would say Jupyter. I will put it to the chat. Jupyter. It's not
Brilliant.
buy. It's free. It's open source. So you can just download it and run it on your computer, and it's like a scientific notebook. And you need to learn how to get data, how to visualize data, and learn some statistics. With those
Brilliant.
things, you can begin and you can be great and do plenty of projects.
Right.
And over time, it depends what will be your focus more. For example, when I speak about price or demand elasticity, it works great if you work with brands that have thousands of products that are monopoly or duopoly. For them, those things are super important. Then you might have company that works practically in real time, like Uber. And for them, it will be different models because they need to know at this moment in New York City, it started raining. Everybody is looking for Lyft. Can I get it? For how much? And how much they can ask for still to be approachable, which means they need to be expensive. So not everybody will take the driver, but still like to have enough drivers who are moving with customers across the city. So, but it's like a step number two. It depends on what customers you will work with. All the libraries I have shown today, the Uber, Airbnb, and so on, like those libraries, there is less than 50 people in the world who know all the mathematics in all of those libraries, all the mathematics. All of those people are on Harvard, Yale, MIT is big in this field, Duke University, in Europe, LSE, London School of Economics, one of the best schools for econometrics in the world. Nobody in private sector, maybe a few quants at some hedge fund, but yeah, no, it's academia. And then there are a couple of thousands of developers who know all the libraries, but usually people specialize in something. So you need to find what customers you can find and then study those things that are relevant only for you.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. I think the current agency I'm with uses Hex or has an application with Hex. I don't know if that's similar to Jupyter or an alternative to Jupyter. But the data that we typically work with are performance metrics. So we're talking conversions, sales, impressions, reach, KPIs, so clicks, cost per click, cost per acquisition. And obviously, I think that for agencies, the goal for them is always to either increase performance, either by reach or by revenue generated and decrease costs. So, would you again have any sort of practical advice and maybe areas to focus on or tools to focus on or anything specifically to explore?
You need to collect a lot of data. Once you have the data
Right.
in the computer, ask the developer to. So already, usually companies are logging all clicks or all pages open. You
Yeah.
can even log all clicks. For example, Clarity from Microsoft is like a competitor to Google Analytics. It's free.
Mhm.
It can record sessions. Um, so they are collecting the data. You can ask developers to collect data about like behavior of people. The disadvantage is that it's generating insane amount of insane amount of data, generating hundreds and hundreds of gigabytes of data. But then it's just classic statistics. You are looking at causalities. If this, then that, like what's the strength of the impact sensitivity study? That's what you are doing in this field. So I don't want to say it's like super basic, but it is one of those like easier things. You just need to collect the data. You need
Okay.
to get them somewhere, parse the data, and then exactly extract those attributes, like relation between what and what. Like, are iPhone users purchasing more than people on Android? I guess yes, but are Android users purchasing more than people who are on MacBook? You would have to measure it, right? And that's exactly this, like a simple use case, but there can be A plus B. What's the impact? And then you might not know what's the ideal B, and this is where things become complicated. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
yes. Sarah was asking if there are any valuable certifications or courses.
Yes. Hi, I'm Sarah. I have a background in digital marketing, and then I studied data science. So now I'm focused more on marketing science. And I've already tried to do more like classification prediction. And now I want to try to do more like MMM models. And first, I want to know if there's any valuable certifications or courses I can learn because it's quite new right now. And secondly, it's like now I'm using Python. And I'm also wondering if I use R might be easier or better. This is my two questions. Thank you.
So speaking of certifications, so if I employ about 70 people in the company. I would say, for example, when we are choosing who to hire, former projects are more important than certifications, and I would probably spend more time doing some research, especially if you could write a case study and show it to either potential customers or employers, depends on your, let's say, path. It will give you bigger edge when you will be negotiating because you can show that you helped somebody. So I would generally advise against adding certifications. The only person, like we have an employee in Flexiana who studied machine learning in Oxford University, and he is super smart. So I would say, okay, I always think, yes, he studied Oxford University, it's good. But also, I remember he's super smart, so maybe I would accept him anyway, because he is just doing great things, and he's always like picking a good approach. So I would generally say that doing things in this field, and if you can write about it, either if you have a blog or on LinkedIn, put it to your resume, have a small case study of how you helped something. It might not be even for profit, it might be non-profit, will help you more in your career. Now, for Python and R, so R is a language that's used by statisticians for the longest. Like it's probably the oldest language we speak about statistics. But Python is now the language that's used the most by generalist scientists, and all the machine learning libraries are in Python. So, and there are great libraries for general statistics as well. So it depends on what's your goal. If you want it to be statistician, like it, in 90% of cases, you don't need any neural networks at all. Like many people think that machine learning must be neural networks, but it's not neural networks only. It's so many other things. So if your focus was statistics, it might be a little bit easier for you, and you might have larger ecosystem, more books, and so on. But I would say that even for statistics, Python ecosystem is great. There's everything. There is no single thing in R that is not in Python as well. But in Python, you can expand to many other things like those neural networks. And also it will be easier for you to get data from various data sources because there might be library to read data from, I don't know, Google Analytics or some CRM, you are not likely to find data loader for, I don't know, Salesforce in R. Maybe yes, but I doubt it. In Python, I think it's the most likely programming language in existence.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. It's so valuable. And I will focus on the project that I'm doing right now, and I will just use Python to do everything.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for today's presentation.
no problem at all.
Mm.